Hey everybody, welcome to this team builder slash analysis. I guess it's more of analysis of a team we built, but have some things to talk about it. So anyways, I am joined here with my good friend Andy. He is another local VGC player in the city that I'm in, and he also runs like a league for us and a lot of fun stuff. Yeah, Andy, why don't you just introduce yourself really quick and just tell him a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Andy. I run the channel Our Dad Plays, and we do some more Pokemon content over there. And I guess I got started in the VGC community in about 2017, 2016, around there. And one of my favorite teams to run was a rain team. So I knew that when we were doing a collab with Tyler here and Metamon, that we had to do a rain team. So that's what we got here for you today.
Awesome. And yeah, just to repeat that, the channel Our Dad Plays that he does, that's a Twitch channel, so you guys go check that out. I'll put a link in the description below so you guys can give them a follow. And yeah, some fun streaming content. And they'll do like shiny hunting and stuff too, so if you're into that. Um, Personally, don't know why people like that, but they like it, so I'm not into it, but that's okay. So yeah, go check them out. But yeah, so we do have a rain team here, and you can see the 6 Pokemon on the slide here that we're using. And we just kind of want to talk about a little about the team building process and just about the team and how it's. What's cool about this team building process is it's not just something we put together and we're like, hey, this is cool, but it's had some play testing too. And part of the team building process is testing and like learning, just getting experience with the team, because you learn, because this team did not start like this at all. At least 2 of the Pokemon have changed. So yeah, let's get into it. I do want to say real quick that yeah, Andy mentioned he really likes Rain. I think one cool thing about Rain is it's flexible. It's not just an offensive mode; it can be defensive because of the defensive Rain properties of like weakening fire types and stuff. So okay, let's hop in. Why don't you start off by talking about Politoad here?
Yeah, so Politoad is one of the new Pokemon that was re-released in the Isle of Armor, previously in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and this Pokemon is it's got the Drizzle ability, so it sets the rain, which helps with the rest of the team, and it's a more bulky rain setter than Pelipper, so we decided to go with Politoad instead. It's got Wiki Berry, so 33% berry. It's got a more defensive EV spread and calm nature with Scald, Helping Hand, Perish Song, and Protect. So it's got Scald for just good stab, Helping Hand to really help out Kingdra, the next one we're going to go over, Perish Song for those nice end games, and then Protect to round out the moveset.
Really quick, are you guys say? Oh no, that's right. Okay, yeah. I thought the EV spread had the wrong defense number, but that is correct.
Okay.
So I was like thinking that doesn't seem to add up, but it does. So yeah, I have to note that this Politoad set was a little different, but I changed it to it specifically survives a 252 adamant, 252 attack adamant grassy glide and grassy terrain from Rillaboom. So you can take that hit. It survives it 15 out of 16 times, but you survive it, it gets the berry. So that's what that spread specifically does. But otherwise, just kind of a general bulk. I have to note, Perish Song is a really cool move. Like, we love Perish Song, and I think
Oh yeah.
that's definitely a big reason to run a more defensive Politoad. There's a lot of win cons you can set up with Perish Song. It can also, I've used it in like good situations where like it'll force them to switch out later, which could be really big for like a Pokemon that's set up and wants to sweep. It could help slow the sweep, it just slow the game down by forcing them to switch out at some point. So yeah, I love Perish Song, so good. And then, well, if you're gonna use the Rain team and use Politoad, we need another Pokemon that takes advantage of the rain. And here's Kingdra, another new Pokemon added from the DLC. In the last format, you would see things like not Politoad, you'd see things like Ludicolo, Barraskewda, or what's it face? Oh, the Toad, Seismitoad. You'd see that. But now we get Kingdra, which is got a really good typing, like Water Dragon's solid typing. And this one is just This Kingdra is just about offense, like do damage, get that system boost. Yeah, and the great thing is it outspeeds Dragapult in the rain and will just like knock out a Dynamax Dragapult with a Max Wormwind. Yeah, Kingdra is a really cool Pokemon. So, Andy, your thoughts on Kingdra?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to touch on the fact that it's really nice to have a special attacking Pokemon as opposed to Seismitoad or Barraskewda. You know, with the mass amount of Intimidate now, it's really nice to have a Pokemon that can cleanly pick up KOs without having to worry about it. And the speed makes it outspeed every Snarl Pokemon, so you don't even have to worry about that. Now, for the moves here, we have Muddy Water, which is great spread move, stab move. Draco Meteor. Again, you could run Dragon Pulse, but I feel like Draco Meteor is just a better, more consistent move, especially when you Dynamax, it just does more damage. And then a new addition to this generation is Hurricane, which helps you with the Rillaboom, Amoonguss, all of those scary grass matchups. So, really cool Pokemon to pair with Politoad.
Yeah, definitely. And another cool thing, if you guys were to run your own rain team or build your own, you can always consider running a more like a timid max speed Politoad with like choice specs, and then you Dynamax Kingdra, get the +1 speed, and now Politoad's at +1 speed with choice specs, Muddy Water in the rain. That can be really offensive. And then one other thing to know is that Kingdra also gets access to Flash Cannon, which I think is a move worth running if you really need to hit fairy types. But yeah, Kingdra, super cool Pokemon. I do note that I want to note too, it's a modest nature, not a timid. Sometimes timid could work, especially if you're playing other Kingdra, or you just want to use Kingdra outside of the rain. But I was just noticing, I like the KOs it guarantees by running modest. There's a few good ones. So yeah, but Kingdra is super straightforward, and this is like your main offensive mode. So, and then next up we have Rillaboom. Yeah, like Andy, let's talk about Rillaboom. There's a lot to talk about this Pokemon in the meta right now.
Oh man, yeah. As soon as Series 5 started, you know, Rillaboom just shot up. It's at 30% and climbing on the usage, almost gonna outdo Togekiss.
I think it is. Like on Pikalytics, they're both at like 35%.
That's insane.
Yeah, so it definitely dropped Togekiss usage a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not gonna lie, this Pokemon deserves its usage spot. Very similar to Incineroar, it's just an all-around perfect Pokemon. With the Grassy Surge ability, Assault Vest, it just takes hits like a champ, heals damage every turn, and then you've got moves like Grassy Glide, Fake Out, and Knock Off, and then some nice pivoting moves like U-Turn. So, and it also, if you were planning to run a more offensive set, you could run High Horsepower, which is a nice coverage move as well. So it's all around a really good Pokemon, and it survives a lot of hits, and it dishes out a ton of damage. So why don't you tell them what the spread is specifically for?
Yeah, so we started off with one that was like had no speed investment, but we had 27. So it was like 27 speed IVs and 4 speed EVs. The idea was to underspeed those like uninvested, neutral-natured Indeedee by 1 point. Female Indeedee. That way, like, we would get the terrain advantage in a lead scenario. That was the idea, but that really wasn't coming into play, or just wasn't consistent. Especially because I also would keep facing like min speed Indeedees in Trick Room. Mm-hmm. So as I played more with the original team, I started running into more Lapras that are running modest nature with a max speed stat, like 252 speed EVs and a Life Orb, and that was becoming a problem because Lapras was kind of a pain for the team, and Rillaboom was my best way to deal with it. But it sucked when they could Dynamax and knock me out with a max resonance because they would run Blizzard or something, or just weaken me a lot, and then I'd like try and U-turn out and get Trick 'em Up for another Pokemon. But it was just it was lame. So I changed this to be 60, to have like 60 speed EVs. This way it outspeeds that Lapras by 1 point, and it gives me 2 options against these Lapras teams depending on what the Pokemon led with Lapras is. So that's, I can either U-turn without taking any damage to U-turn out and get like Trick Room up or something, or I could Dynamax and Oko Lapras, like an uninvested bulky, like an uninvested defensive Lapras, like with no defense EVs. I could Dynamax and just Oko a Gigantamax Lapras with the train up, and it's really powerful max drum solo, because this is a G-Max Rillaboom, which is really good to run. So those are kind of the 2 options I had. I wanted to give me more options against Lapras, and that's what this spread does. The attack EVs, it makes it like a Oko on a 4 HP Lapras, or more like a 20 HP Lapras. So on a 4 HP it Okos it, but otherwise it's like 15 out of 16 times it Okos it, and then I just dump the rest into its defenses and HP. So yeah, that's what it does there. Like I said, good pivot mon, really good for fake out. This is a highly used Pokemon for a reason, basically because of Grassy Glide. Alright, and then next up, we wanted to, at least I wanted to have a Trick Room mode. I like my teams to kind of like cover both ends of the speed tier. And a new Pokemon added is Porygon 2, which is one of my absolute favorite Pokemon to use. It's super bulky, really consistent Trick Room setter. There's not a lot of taunt in the format, even though like I think it's a good move. But yeah, so this thing kind of adds a Trick Room mode to the team, a really nice Trick Room setter that also has the awesome Bolt Beam coverage. And having another way to hit water types was huge, and that's where Thunderbolt was better. And then Ice Beam's just a really good move right now that can hit things like Rillaboom, Dragapult, things like that. Recovers really solid on Porygon, just let it sponge hits and recover it off. So, and then of course Trick Room. Yeah, Andy, what do you think about Porygon 2?
I just gotta say, when I entered the format when I first entered the VGC in 2017, this thing gave me nightmares. It is so bulky and it takes so many hits, and to see it return is excellent. I just think that this is the best Trick Room setter we have. It's got very consistent bulk, and it's got the nice normal typing, which is something that is lacking right now in the format. So we originally started with Shadow Ball and Tri-Attack, but like Tyler said, the Thunderbolt and Ice Beam is a lot better coverage, and it fits with the Rillaboom and the Politoad and stuff a lot better than Shadow Ball and Tri-Attack. So yeah.
Yeah, hitting those water types, man. We'll get to that. So yeah, and I do think that Porygon 2 now competes very much with Dusclops as the most consistent Trick Room setter. Dusclops is probably better to like dedicated Trick Room, especially because Dusclops can proc some weakness policies. But I feel like Porygon as a general Trick Room or like control Trick Room Pokemon, I think it's a better option. And I'm really happy to have something that's not Dusclops, because I love Trick Room, but I'm not a huge fan of dedicated Trick Room. So,
I totally agree.
Yeah, okay, so this next Pokemon is one you're probably not going to see very often, and I know Andy Andy had some, at first was really hesitant about this. So, yeah, why don't you share that?
Yeah, so as you guys can see, our next Pokemon is Escavalier, and when Tyler told me he wanted to use this Pokemon, I was like, we're going to lose every match. This Pokemon sucks. I asked him, I was like, you ever use this? And he was like, nope. I was like, oh boy. 4 times weak to fire, it's got a bug move, it's got steel. I was like, this thing's not good. And we went like 8-1. So that tells you how good it is. We used it about every match, and you know, we tweaked it a little bit, but it is such a good Pokemon and continues to surprise me with its bulk and its overall power. It's got the Aqua Berry, so, you know, like I was talking about the 4 times weakness to fire, it'll survive a fire hit, and coupled with Politoad's Rain, you could survive 2 or 3 fire hits. So it's even better than normal. And it's got the amazing ability Overcoat, for all the pesky Amoonguss and Venusaur out there. So if they try and sleep powder you or spore you, they just waste the turn. And you don't take any damage from hail. You wouldn't take damage from sand because you're steel type. But yeah, we want to run a Brave Nature, pretty simple, 252 HP, 252 attack, 4 special defense, just to get that one extra point.
Yeah, it also, I have to note too on that really quick that I usually favor like that if they have the same stat, because download from Porygon, any way you can prevent a special attack boost is a good idea.
Yep, that is very true. And then for the moves, we have Iron Head, Mega Horn, or X Scissor, depending on how conservative you are. And then Drill Run for the nice coverage move against fire types, and then Protect. So really, really well-rounded Pokemon. Again, really surprised me, and it's definitely worth trying out, especially on this team.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Escavalier fits this team really well with what we're going for. The Rain Trick Room sort of combination, and I have to emphasize that because I'm not going to come out here and say Escavalier is the best Pokemon ever, but I think for this team and this meta, it fits really well. Like, we started with Excadrill, like a Sash Excadrill, because we're like, Mold Breaker's good for Rotom, because you know Rotom's going to be a pain, and then we were like, I was like, I'm not feeling Excadrill. Like, because it doesn't take advantage of the rain defensive properties, and it's also making it weaker to water moves, which kind of sucks. And then, yep, I knew it. I saw a cattail back there in my camera. And then, like, I was like, okay, so I need something. And then I was also finding that, like, those Indeedee Pokemon and, like, those Psychic Spam teams were being kind of annoying. And I was like, all right, let's try Durant. I've used Durant in the past. I have experience with it. It's really powerful. Its bug move just wrecks, and it wrecks Rillaboom. I was needing to hit Rillaboom more because Escadrill wasn't doing well against Rillaboom. And then that was fine. I also think I switched Rillaboom to Amoonguss, so that was okay, except that I couldn't bring Politoad, Kingdra, and Durant because Durant wants that Dynamax option so badly. Like, Kingdra doesn't need it, but it sucks when I want a Dynamax Kingdra, but I have Durant in the back or something, and Durant is so hit or miss when you don't Dynamax it. It can, like, literally hit or miss.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I tried Scizor because that's a new Pokemon. Scizor is pretty cool, but like it doesn't get Bug Bite anymore, which really turns me off to it. And I don't know, I didn't like that middling speed tier. It's like I wanted something fast or something slow. And then I was like, oh, there's another Bug Steel type, and that's Escavalier. And surprisingly, Bug is a good attacking type right now because of, you know, you got Indeedee running around and the Psychic stuff, and you've got Rillaboom running around everywhere. Like, and having that Steel typing makes it deal with Togekiss really well. Like, it fits so well, and it's such a good Dynamax Pokemon. It's really bulky. Yeah, and I use Mega Horn because I like missing. Not really. But yeah, X Scissor's nice for if you don't like to miss, like Andy said. So, but yeah, this slot took a while to figure out, but through testing, and this is why I'm telling you guys, your team is not perfect when you start it. You test it, and this is how you find out. It's like Escavalier's the option. So yeah, not much to say about Escavalier other than it fits really well with the Trick Room mode. Oh yeah, and I have to say too that, you know, it has 20 speed, so it's really slow. That, like, I'd go against Trick Room teams and I'd bring Escavalier, and like they don't want to set, like, they're dedicated Trick Room. It's like they don't want to set Trick Room because they know they have to deal with this thing, because a lot of them are like Indeedee hat stuff, and so it's like they don't want to deal with this. But then if they don't set up Trick Room, I have stuff faster than them, so it puts people in a precarious position matchup wise. Yeah, I think it's like the perfect Pokemon for this, and having Overcoat is just icing on the cake. So yeah, this last slot started off as a Marowak, actually. The original idea was Marowak's Lightning Rod supporting, and Marowak was going to be the kind of Trick Room sweeper, but it actually was too fast. It wasn't slow enough, it felt like. And I don't know, Marowak was okay until we added Escavalier, because then it's like Escavalier kind of took over Marowak's job. And Escavalier just did a better job of it. Because Marowak doesn't really deal with Rillaboom very well, because unless Trick Room's up, like knockoff just wrecks you. But Escavalier bodies Rillaboom like hard. So, but now we have our favorite furry wrestling kitty cat, Incineroar, that everyone loves to hate. I love it. Yeah, so we got just a pretty standard defensive set with like max HP, almost max HP, a lot of special defense. The defense, if I recall correctly, the one I was running would survive like a max Quake from Durant at -1. This might do something similar to that. So, and then it's just yeah, that's the main thing, is just to be bulky and pivot around with Parting Shot. We need a fire type, a good fire type to threaten like Ferrothorn. Like that's one of the hard things with rain teams in the past, is finding a good fire type to put on there. Incineroar coming around made it rain real nice to have a fire type. So yeah, Andy, your thoughts on Incineroar here?
Well, I just think having the Intimidate Pokemon made it so much more valuable than Marowak. Marowak provided the good, very offensive coverage, but we really lacked an Intimidate Pokemon, especially for Rillaboom, for Pokemon like opposing Incineroar, opposing Marowak, and the Dark typing is also very good to stop things like Fake Tears and just stop Psychic Spam, so this Pokemon really fit the role that we needed it to, and especially with the moves that it gets, such as Fake Out, Parting Shot, and Taunt, which we're gonna run, and then the nice Flare Blitz as the stab move.
Yeah.
Choice.
Yeah, and I should note it doesn't have a dark attacking move. I did start off with Lash Out, which is a cool move to try out. Like, I recommend it. It's a really cool move. But I really like Andy was saying, the dark typing is really good defensively, but I wasn't really utilizing its dark type move a lot for offensive purposes. Like I said, this Incineroar is so defensive and kind of pivot. It's about pivoting and disrupting. I chose to go try out Taunt because I need to. The Dusclops Dragalge little combo that's starting to run around is becoming a problem, and I just really need to control the Dusclops, and that's where Taunt comes in. It just allows Kingdra to actually work in that matchup by preventing them to set up Trick Room or just Pain Split and stuff like that. So that's the idea behind Taunt. But yeah, Incineroar, we all know it, we all love it, we all love to hate it. So yeah, I think that's about it for the team. Well, if you're gonna use a team, you gotta know what to lead. So you just got we got a few common leads here that I found ourselves using a lot as we play tested on Twitch streaming. Yeah, why don't you take the first one, and I'll talk about kind of the other two.
The first one is my absolute favorite. So any of you that know me or have played against me before, Offensive Rain is my absolute favorite lead, and it's about 70% of my games, because you just overtake your opponent if they're not ready, especially if they have very passive leads. Rillaboom and Porygon, if you're facing one, Togekiss and like a Trick Room setter, even like Indeedee Hatterene sometimes. If they're very passive leads, you can just run them over. So that's my personal favorite. And with the helping hand pressure and everything, Politoad and Kingdra just absolutely destroy teams.
Yeah, plus if you use that offense to get up like a 4-2 or 3-2 lead, then you got Perish Song.
Exactly.
Like, Perish Song is such a great closer. Yeah, and then the other lead, which we kind of call it the more balanced lead, or like flexible lead, is leading something like Rillaboom Kingdra. I've done Incineroar Kingdra before, but I really like Rillaboom Kingdra, especially when I expect them to like lead a water type to try and take those big max geyser hits. So this is like balanced and flexible because it gives you a couple options to work with. You can You can still go offense by just simply switching into Politoad and getting that immediate speed boost and taking out what will get not what you can take out with like a Max Geyser or Max Wormwind. You have fake out pressure if you just need to fake something out and have Kingdra do something like Muddy Water or Max move. Or you can switch Kingdra out and Rillaboom can Dynamax and do some work, or it can, or like you could switch Kingdra into Politoad, give Rillaboom that defensive aspect of the rain, and this Rillaboom is more offensive, so it can Dynamax. You can just U-turn out to like reposition. So yeah, like that's actually a cool idea too. Like just switch out Kingdra into Politoad, U-turn into Kingdra, and now you have like that setup. So yeah, there's a couple cool options. I should note that this is one interesting matchup is if you come up against a Togekiss Dragapult lead. You're actually going to lead Kingdra plus Incineroar as like your balanced flexible lead. And my sort of like theorying of that is you Dynamax Kingdra, Max Guard, taunt the Togekiss, and then next turn, and hopefully they Dynamax the Dragapult, and then you switch into Politoad and get rid of the Dragapult because they can't follow me at that point. So again, taunt, a better control move. And then we have this last lead, which one cool thing about Porygon is it's just like a good just lead Pokemon because it's so bulky. It just gives you some options because it's so bulky, and threatens Trick Room. That's huge. Like, and what's cool about Trick Room is you can threaten Trick Room for like both all different aspects of like offense, defense, balance. So, yeah, Andy, talk about this lead just a little bit, and I'll talk some about it in a second.
Yeah, of course. So I'll just go over like some of the ones I commonly found myself using with the Porygon is I really liked the Porygon and Incineroar as like a nice Intimidate option, and then you get Fake Out pressure. So you can easily set Trick Room. If you get a special attack boost, you could take advantage and just double attack. You could always taunt the opposing Trick Room or just pretend like you're going to do Trick Room, kind of bait out your opponent. And then Rillaboom, very similar. You have the Fake Out pressure, but you can also use Porygon as kind of like a stalling Pokemon for their Dynamax with the Recover option. So you can use Rillaboom with the Grassy Surge, heal up your Porygon, and just keep it recovering until your opponent's Dynamax is over. Even Cycle Intimidates, and it can be really, really devastating to your opponent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a couple cool options I found with Porygon is you can like Parting Shot or U-turn out into Escavalier while setting up Trick Room, which is kind of like a cool option. So it's kind of like a flexible offensive option. I've been playing, I've noticed some matchups where I should just outright lead Escavalier and probably lead it with Porygon, because Escavalier is like matchups where I can just lead it and Dynamax it immediately. So either I can try and get up Trick Room or try and get it up later. So like there's a couple cool options there. And then
would you say one of those is like Hatterene and Indeedee would be a good one for that?
Yeah, that could definitely be a good one. Yeah, I think that's a good one to lead into. Or I found like leading it against Porygon Z stuff is really helpful because it can resist the Max Strike and start boosting, or you can start lowering its special attack, or just like being able to boost defense. There was another, like Duraludon. I'd lead P2 Escavalier against like teams that are going to lead Duraludon or something. I'd definitely do that. So yeah, I think that's a good. And also, that Indeedee hat lead, I think leading Porygon or leading something like Incineroar or Rillaboom. I like Rillaboom because then you just U-turn the Indeedee out into your Escavalier. And then you can like Max Flare-Beat the Indeedee the next turn to finish it off while lowering the attack of the Hatterene, and then maybe bring Rillaboom back in to get rid of the terrain. So that's a cool few options. And then Porygon Kingdra is something you can do. Again, it gives you a few options for like switching into Politoad or Yeah, so, but yeah, basically Porygon plus anything is pretty solid, except for maybe like Porygon Politoad. That might be too passive.
Hmm.
So, okay, whoops. Moving on, we have some tough matchups to watch out for, and these are just what I found so far in the testing of the team. Typically, bulky waters are a problem, and this is a big reason why I opted for not only Thunderbolt on the Porygon, but also to make Rillaboom a little more threatening to something like Lapras. Yeah, yeah, and Azumarill is kind of tough to deal with under Trick Room because I don't. You guys might have watched me use it earlier, but like Trick under Azumarill Dynamax under Trick Room is a pretty scary mon. So yeah, the bulky waters are. Yeah, they're probably one of the biggest tough matchups you'll find. So you'll have to dance around. You'll have to play around those really well. And I have to say, sometimes that's where Pear Song is really helpful. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah. And then the Water Fairies especially. So and then Labras's Freeze Dry just threatens half the team. So plus it can set up the Gmax Resonance and just take damage so well. Um, and then the Dragology Dusclops combo is becoming more common. That one is found to be a problem, and specifically why I'm running Taunt on Incineroar, because I need to be able to control that Dusclops better. I mean, I kid you not, I played one match where they had those two plus in Rillaboom and Incineroar, and I just brought everything but my rain Pokemon, because I can't. It's like you can't bring Kingdra to threaten the Dragology because like Trick Room's gonna happen. Like there's just no way around it. And I was trying to rely on Escavalier, but they were max Wormwinding and intimidating like crazy. And I couldn't break through it. It was so slow and so defensive battle that I lost the game to time 4 Pokemon to 3. Like that's 20 minutes of we were just switching around, doing everything we could. And then I just realized, that's when I realized, I was like, I need to deal with that Dusclops, and Taunt feels like a good way to help deal with it. And that hopefully can allow Kingdra to then put on pressure against Incineroar and Dragology, and then I have like my own Incineroar to threaten, or even a Escavalier to deal with, the Rillaboom. So that specifically, and then Duraludon, just because its typing is phenomenal. We don't really have much ground or fighting type. That one's tough to deal with. Escavalier is a good Pokemon against it, so going for the Trick Room and Escavalier under Trick Room is really good. Yeah, but those are the tougher matchups that you have to like be really smart about your positioning and how you manage your turns. So Andy, have you faced these much, or are there any other specific Pokemon you could think about that you want to be aware of?
Yeah, I have faced a ton of Lapras and had a huge problem with them for a while. Until like I just started Dynamaxing Rillaboom, and then even sometimes they outspeed and knock you out, and so it's all variable matchups, especially in best of one against some of those bulky water Pokemon, and you just can't bring the Rain team to them because you're just making them stronger. Especially the Azumarill and the Primarina, they just kind of destroy Kingdra. So yeah, and then I did see a little bit of an issue with Rillaboom for a while.
Yeah.
But the Incineroar helped a lot. So
Yeah.
if you're having problems using this team against Rillaboom, try and just use that Incineroar as much as possible. The Intimidate and the Fire just scares the heck out of them.
Yeah. And then also having U-turn on our own Rillaboom is helpful, and the Escavalier, I'm telling you, it bodies Rillaboom, like straight up. You just gotta support it well. So yeah, Rillaboom for sure. And I should note Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn for any rain team is gonna be a problem. That's if there's any reason to run Parasong on Politoad, it's Ferrothorn, because I would just deal with everything else and then Parasong it, and try and maintain a good enough lead, or have Trick Room ready still. So
yeah.
But yeah, so far these Pokemon on the screen are probably the biggest matchup issues that we found. But the good thing is they're not unwinnable matchups. They're definitely not unwinnable. We've teched the team and fine-tuned it enough. The only one I haven't fully tested is the Rillaboom set, but based on how many times I've faced these fast Life Orb Lapras, I think this will make a difference. And it gives more options on how to play the Lapras by having that speed and that offensive option. So cool. Yeah, and then otherwise, like as we play and as the meta develops, more things will come up and things will adapt. So last thing here I got for you guys. Let me show you that. You better. We got for you guys the code for the team. I have it up online now. You guys should check it out and try it out if you would like. I really like it. Like I said, it's a very balanced rain team. It's got fast option, slow option, trick room option, control option. It's very, very balanced. So give it a try, and then maybe that'll help inspire you to like maybe come up with your own version of it. Andy, any other thoughts about this team? How you're feeling it? Tell them about any specific changes for yourself you've done with this team, like your own specific version.
So me and Tyler have very different play styles. You know, he's very defensive. He likes to kind of whittle down the opponent and then, you know, kind of force him into these tough positions. I like the very offensive starts, very offensive finishes. You know, I really like the feel of just one-shotting things. So I personally am running a Choice Specs Incineroar on my team. It's similar to, you know, most Incineroar having Parting Shot, you know, using the Intimidate, being a more bulky set, but it takes advantage of its lower special attack by using. Yeah, it's kind of mediocre.
Not great.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But with the Choice Specs and you know some investment, it actually does quite a bit of damage, and I use it with Snarl and the new move Burning Jealousy. So it's really cool that you get to take advantage of it, and it's another Pokemon that you don't have to worry about Intimidate users, so that's kind of nice. Other than that, it's about the same though.
Yeah,
no Mega Horn.
Yeah, he doesn't like to miss like me, so he runs X Scissor. And I think the Choice Specs Incineroar is actually kind of neat. Like, I've seen people run Special Tyranitar, which I think has like 90 special attack. So like 80 special attack's workable, but I think the fact that it doesn't care about Intimidate is what makes it really neat. And I was even telling Andy, like, dude, you could, on this team specifically, you could just run like a min speed, max special attack, max HP, quiet Incineroar, and it actually would be it actually wouldn't be that bad, especially since we have that Trick Room option. So yeah, I think it's really not. It's actually kind of neat. It catches people off guard, like you said. And then I think I was telling Andy, like, we should have him try the more offensive Politoad too. The only downside is you have to give up Perish Song usually, so that's a tough one.
Yep.
But yeah, I think, and like I said, like I think Andy brings up a good point. Like, it's good to tweak a team to yours. It's good to tweak a team to your sort of play style, because everyone plays differently. No one's gonna play that one team the same. This team it's kind of come out more to my style a little bit because I've just done a lot more of the testing with it. But it does have both modes of the offense and the defense. So, and I think the Trick Room mode it considers as an offensive mode too.
Yeah.
So
and
yeah.
What I can do is I can actually I'll leave my code. Also, I'd give it to you to put in the description. So if anyone wants to use same team, same Pokemon, except it's going to be the Choice Specs Incineroar.
Yeah, try it out. Absolutely. So, okay, that'll be it for this, guys. We'll be back together for some videos to just kind of show off the team in the battles, and also gives us a chance to also test more the taunt on the Incineroar and the new Rillaboom spread. So we'll be looking forward to that. And guys, have a great rest of your day. Andy, thank you for doing this, but you will be back.
Yeah,
for sure. And we're also gonna have some cool content coming up with a draft league we're doing. I very much plan on uploading stuff should people be okay with that, so, or my opponents be okay with that, so we'll see some fun stuff in that. So okay guys,
Oh yeah.
have a good day, have a good one, and we'll see you in the next episode. Later.